For more than 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter in our community. From our studios in St. Clair, you're watching Focus with Paul Dingeman.
Welcome to another edition, and it's actually a special edition of the Focus program. My name is Paul Dingeman. We are glad you are along. There's some gentlemen coming into town that are going to be doing some research and looking for some wonderful thing called oil. They're here to tell us about some meetings that are coming up for the residents of the city of St. Clair and what the whole total project is. Joining us now is Mr.
Dennis Schmoody.
Dennis Schmoody, nice to meet you. And
Nice to meet
Mr.
you.
Kelly?
David Kelly.
David
Yes.
Kelly. Talk to me. You've been in town now for a year or two, going around doing some sampling, doing some testing. What made you do that, and where are we at in the whole project?
Well, to go back a little bit, I'm not looking for oil. I'm looking actually for natural gas.
Oh, okay.
So to correct you on that, but
That's fine.
okay. I've been looking for the underground reservoir that's under the town here since before 2016. I approached the city for the right to shoot seismic in town at that time. And at that time in 2016, they granted me the right to shoot 4 seismic lines initially. And in order to do that, one of them actually, on St. Clair Highway, I had to shoot that one because they were having a problem with one of the roads, and they wanted to figure out why the road was slumping into the Pine River.
Correct.
And so I had to shoot that line. But we got the 4 lines back, and that was very intriguing. I knew I was on the right track. But before I go on any farther, I'd like to mention why I wanted to come to St. Clair and do this. I was born and raised in St. Clair, lived here for 13 years, and our home was at the end of Henry Street, which was Division Road, which is now called Fredmore Highway.
Right.
When I was a young person, we used to fish on the Pine River, and we used to catch fish on the Pine River during the week. And what we'd do is, to keep them for the weekend, we'd sell them on the weekend to people that would come from Detroit to fish along the river. And we had a spring on the property, and we put the fish in the spring. And so that was wonderful, but in that spring we'd get them out and sell them. But I noticed from time to time there was an oil sheen on the water. Now, mind you, I'm only 8, 9 years old when this was happening. And if you have any idea what that's like, it's like a lot of the guys like to fish for walleye or pickerel on the St. Clair River. And if you notice when you start your engine, sometimes you see a rainbow in the water.
Yep.
Well, that's what I saw. And that was intriguing. And I've been in the oil and gas business 50 years, and I thought, wouldn't it be nice before I finish my career that I would come back to St. Clair with a hunch saying, I think there's oil and gas under the town. And the more research I did, the more I got closer to understanding exactly what's going on. We're going to have a show and tell here in about a week, and another one after that, where if people would like to know why St. Clair looks so different from Marine City as far as the elevation is concerned, why you have a sandbar out front, you need to come to that meeting, and I'll explain to you why that's so significant.
So you were born and raised here. You stayed here, and then you went on to college, I would assume.
Wayne State.
Wayne State University, and got into the oil and gas business.
Correct.
And you came, as you said, to St. Clair to see if there is actually something underneath. What effect does it have on the citizens having you here?
Well, David and I, my brother-in-law here, his brother is Dan Kelly, the circuit court judge here in the county. We came down here, and it was great that the St. Clair Inn was open.
Right.
What a beautiful thing that St. Clair has now. Another shining thing for the town. And we had lunch there, and it was wonderful. A little on the expensive side, but it was great. But what we're trying to do is something the same way. We're coming to town doing something equally as special, where you see the St. Clair Inn, but you don't see what we're doing. The St. Clair Inn, you have to pay to get food. In our case, if you lease to us and we're drilling under where we think the oil and gas is, you'll receive revenue, so you'll get money back in your pocket. And that's the difference. And I think the people could appreciate getting money in their pocket. And so I wanted to come back and do something nice for the people in town, and this is my hometown, and so I thought I'd come back. One other thing, when I was working 7 years for the gas company downtown Detroit after Wayne State, I drove from St. Clair to Detroit because I couldn't afford to live in the Detroit area. So I drive 55 miles each way, 110 miles a day.
Right.
And but I lived on Robinson Street. I also lived on the corner of J Street, not J, but 6th Street in Robinson.
Okay.
So
you've established that you were a longtime old resident. I guess I'm confused on what we're going to tell the people about how this is going to affect them. You were here for a while, the last couple of years, and you did some testing.
Yep.
And you did not drive cores down, but you ran some seismic equipment over the top of the ground and determined different spots that might be possibly full of oil.
That's correct. That's correct.
You're looking at natural gas. We're not looking at oil.
Yeah.
All right. And so now you're coming back and you're offering a resident at an address a possibility of sharing in the profits.
That's right.
And how do I know that I'm going to have oil or gas or gas on my address?
You won't know it unless we come. If we come and lease you, we think it's prospective, and so that would be great if you would lease to us. But we're in the beginning stages, and we've already leased. How many have we leased already, Dave?
We have 150 leases right now of maybe 200 tracts of land, but 150 leases from people.
Okay, so you made it a lease with me. I've said okay. I'll agree to let you drill on my property. Is that what's going to happen?
It's not going to be drilling on your property. What we do is we form a unit. And obviously the town lots are too small, the backyards are too small for a drilling rig that might take up an acre. So what we do is the state, we're abiding by the rules of the state, which means we have to have a 40 or an 80 acre parcel of property in order to drill a well. And in this case, I'm looking at putting together an 80 acre unit and concentrate on getting those leases in that area. Once I have enough of those together, then what I'll do is I'll drill. But I won't be drilling, I'll be drilling not in their backyard, but in an area. What I want to do is, if I was a homeowner, I wouldn't want it in my backyard. I didn't even want to see it. And what I'm going to try to do is put it in a spot where I could, where the people aren't going to see the drilling rig, and they're not even going to know that I'm there. And there's ways that you can do it. Like I said, I've been in the business 50 years, and I know how to conduct the right work to get the right job done.
I think one of the things that's really important about this too is this is a gas prospect, and so a gas well isn't like an oil well. This is
not the big rig that's going up in the sky.
Well, it'll be the big rig just for the drilling operation, but when it comes to the actual, after the well's been discovered, and it's just going to be a wellhead basically and a little bit of piping. So there's a number of these wells that are around this area, and people probably don't even notice them as they're driving by. It's almost...
Go down Indian Trail, which is off of St. Clair Highway. You go down there, look on either side of the road, you'll see these little pieces of pipe sticking out of the ground with little valves on them, little wheels. That's about what you're going to see.
Okay, so what is happening? Let's go over to this chart that you brought.
So what you have here is you have this is just a schematic drawing, a block diagram showing you what the surface looks like. And this isn't exactly for St. Clair, but it shows you the different down in the ground. And this is, say, 2,500 feet down in the ground, and this is about 2,000. Where Cargill, or previously Diamond Crystal Salt Company, they've been putting hot water down the wells here in this formation. All these yellows are salt beds, and they've been doing that drilling wells in St. Clair for
1800s.
Since 1864 was the first one, and they used that. Well, that was right around the Civil War time. They used the brine water coming out from that, which was stinky water. There was actually a hotel across from the state police post, if you remember where that was.
I thought that was Sulphur Springs.
Well, that might have been called that, yeah. And so people used to come and bathe in that water. And of course, people might know, traveling to Mount Clemens years ago, they used to have hotels, yeah. And so that's that stinky water. And that was coming out of the formations up in here, this stinky water. But the Diamond Crystal and now Cargill are taking salt out of these zones. There's actually been 80 wells that are known to be drilled in St. Clair, and I have all the information on all of them, when they were drilled, how deep, what they were doing.
Okay, so, but I'm still confused on, are you drilling down that far under where the Niagara Reef is? Is that where you're going?
I think what you want to point out too is the salt wells were about 1,000 feet
No,
And here you're going about
Well, the salt
20
wells were anywhere from about 1,500 feet to about 2,000 feet, a little less than 2,000 feet, like maybe
Okay.
1,800. And where I'm looking at is below that.
Okay.
And what we have here is this is what we're looking at, a Niagara Reef. And of course, it is solid rock. And of course, at the surface where it says sand and gravel, we have about 150 feet of sand and gravel here before we hit hard rocks such as shales and limestones. You know, they have different names, salt and what have you. And so what I'm looking at is the Niagara Reef, and it's a very rigid piece of rock. And here's some examples of it. Yeah, this is what
I
comes
cut
out.
my hand on earlier.
Yeah. So if you look at this, you'll see there's little holes inside the rock. This is solid rock. 90% of this rock is solid. 10% has holes in it. And so here's another one just to show you. You have to have a porosity, but you also have to have, if you look at this, lift up the top.
Lift up the top.
Yeah, done.
Oh,
It comes apart. These holes are all connected by fractures, which we call permeability. You have to have both of those, and at the depth that we're looking at here, 2,500 feet down in the ground, you're looking at about 1,300 pounds pressure under the ground. Of course, most people know that pressures increases with depth, and of course that's what we have here. The natural gas is stored under pressure, and that's what we look for. And so it comes out of the ground as soon as you hit it. Can you imagine?
as soon as you hit this stone,
Right.
the gas will start coming up.
It will be unless you control it. And of course, in the old days, they used to have these big gushers. Well, we're not going to have that. Everything is controlled. We have ways and means to control what's going to happen, and we know exactly when it's going to happen because I'm a geologist, and of course, under my direction, we'll have it done right.
I think one of the things we want to point out, Paul, is that when people think of the gas, or that there's this void and that's where it's at. And one of the things Denny wanted to show by bringing this rock was the gas comes out of these formations. So when the gas is removed, you don't have this a void that disappears. It's just coming out of these fractures.
And the ground doesn't sink in.
Okay, I guess I'm from an old school where I have in my brain that there's a cavernous hole there in the ground 2,000 feet down, like that Niagara Reef there on the drawing, and the gas is just waiting for you to tap in and say, "Hi, I'm here." Is that basically what it is?
Well, that's a normal way to think about it, and I thought about that.
Oh, thank God, I'm normal.
Right.
So that took place that way until I got to college and studied geology and realized that I had a lot to learn, and so this is just what I'm an expert in as far as what goes on. And so the rock is
I'm not
solid.
questioning your expertise. I'm trying to figure out
visualize.
what you're going to do. That's
Okay.
what I'm.
Yeah.
That's what I'm figuring confused on. So you're going to drill down 2,000 feet from an area not in my backyard.
Correct.
But you're going to give me a lease. I'm going to sign a lease with you that if there happens to be natural gas underneath my address,
Yes.
I will share in the profits.
You bet. Yeah, you'll
that
share.
way to
You got it perfect.
Yeah, absolutely perfect. And you'll share proportionally to the number of acres or how big your lot is in relationship to the 80-acre unit.
Okay. All right. So the next chart you have explains
Tip that out.
some of the St. Clair area and where you've been working and where you're going to what you're going to do.
Well, this should be pretty familiar with the river here. This
Right.
is the Pine River.
Right.
And obviously the stream.
Where was your fishing hole?
Actually, it was probably I fished along the river here.
Okay.
and
We'll
obviously the big
tell
river.
everybody to get to that hole.
That was great. It was interesting. The different spots along the river, you'd catch different fish. So you'd have to be in the right spot if you wanted to catch a walleye or a catfish or a carp. So different spots, they seem to like different spots. But anyway, this is, if you see I don't know if you can see the red lines right here.
Yeah.
This is where I came in initially and shot some seismic. There's about 7 seismic lines. Today I've shot 14 seismic lines. The last one was from the Voyager on Riverside Avenue all the way up to Yankee Road.
Right.
And of course I have it shot all the way down to the south. and I have the seismic, which is sending sound waves into the ground, and I'm able to use that kind of like when you have a woman is pregnant and wants to see what their baby looks like. Well, we use the same techniques to see what's under the ground. We want to see something different, and we call that an anomaly. Just like when you're pregnant and you have your baby in there, the reason why it stands out because it's very anomalous, and of course it's pretty solid compared to all the other fluid there. So we can tell that. But if you notice all these little diamonds right here,
Right.
there's about 69 diamonds on here, and this represents wells that were drilled from the 1860s all the way up to the current time. And you
okay.
may not know it, but Cargill is going to drill 2 or 3 more wells in this area here this summer coming up. So this is still going on. So drilling in St. Clair is not new, but where I'm going to drill will be, I'm looking at obviously north of, let's say, Fredmore Highway for the most part.
Okay, so you said you needed one area to set up your equipment.
Yes.
You decided where that's going to be?
I have 3 spots chosen, and I got 2 of them that have agreed to allow me to drill from there. So I haven't. So
Can't
what
release it yet.
That's correct, and I'll angle drill down to the spot. So I'm going to go from at least a quarter mile away.
Okay. Does this process create a lot of noise?
Well, it'll create noise, but what we have is when we come to town with the drilling rig, what we'll do is we have compressor, or rather mufflers. They call it hospital mufflers that we'll put on, and that'll diminish the noise. Plus, it'll be in an area that'll be a little farther out, so you won't hear it. The whole drilling operation won't take probably much longer than 10 days.
Oh.
And we'll be in and out.
Well, and you've been pretty good about coming into town, doing your testing or doing your seismic testing, and being quiet and getting out of town. You've done that now for 2 years, so people have a credibility built up with what you say and what you do.
Yes, yeah, I do. I've been working closely with the city.
Right.
And like I mentioned, I shot St. Clair Highway right here, and what you notice here, one of the old wells was right next to Palmer Road, where the road was falling in, where it was falling into the river.
Right.
And I talked to them about that and how to cure the problem.
Right.
And so I went out there today and noticed that they got it so it's passable now, but it hasn't been blacktopped yet.
No.
So.
Okay, so what do you need the public to do to help you with this?
Well, I'd like the public to be aware of what we're doing, number one, and I think this is very interesting. I think they'll find it interesting what we're going to do, and I think it's beneficial for them. So what I need to do is, when we have people come out, knock on your door, or send mails or letters to you, we want you to look at that, ask questions so that they fully understand it, and then sign it, and then so that we can then begin to conduct business. Now, for a lot of people haven't been willing to necessarily come to the door and talk to us, and that's because for a lot of varied reasons. And that's the reason why we wanted to come here today, and so that they could see that I'm a good guy. We come to town with my brother-in-law David here and talk with you, and then the next couple of weeks come back and put on basically town hall meetings here, and where people can get to know us and ask questions questions like, come in and take a look at this rock, see what it's like. Come take a look at some of our maps. Come talk to us about, why is St. Clair different than Marine City? Marine City has a river going through it, like St. Clair, but why is St. Clair like it is? Why does the Pine River go all the way down, come back up, can't go any farther, come back down, and go around like that? There's a reason for that, and it all has to do with the geology, and that's what I'm an expert at.
Okay. Okay, you're going to have a couple meetings. What's the first one?
The first meeting is going to be January 16th.
January 16th. That's
from 6 to 7.
Real soon. And the 16th is a Thursday?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes, and then the 23rd, which I think is maybe another.
And they're going to be held here at St. Clair City Hall.
Yes.
And they are going to be in the council chambers, I believe.
Yes, that's correct. And from
is there
6
any
till
admission
7.
price or any?
No admission price at all. And I think you're going to have some refreshments or something that we'd provide, and
Snacks.
No gas or oil, please.
No. And I think it'd be a great chance for them to maybe ask questions and to find out what's going on in more detail.
If you have not contacted me already, does that mean I'm not going to be included in the program, or or are you still looking?
That's a very, very good question. Like I said, this was a little more complicated than I thought, and that's because there's a lot going on under the ground. And so what I'm doing is concentrating on a small area to start with, and then what I plan on doing, if we're successful and things work out, don't worry, we'll be around to contact the other people here.
Okay.
But we're taking one step at a time.
Right, and if people want to contact us, they can call a telephone number 364-7940. And
Is that 810? What area code?
Yeah, it's here in Marysville.
Okay.
An office there. So
We have representatives from a company called Alexco that's helping us put together the land side of it for us.
And one of your representatives, Andy, has been
Andy
to
Caldwell,
been
yes.
to City Council a couple times and done a
Yeah.
nice presentation. So, yeah, you guys have been working diligently to try and find some natural gas, and we wish you luck. Anything else we should talk about today before we give those dates and times again? Have we covered it all, or
All right.
have we missed anything?
no, I don't think so.
Let's give those times and dates again.
All right, that'd be January 16th from 6 till 7. And
Here
then
at City Hall in the council chambers.
Yes. So, and then the next one would be January 23rd in the same place.
Okay. Well, that's your invitation to come to St. Clair City Hall on the two dates that were, let me see that again, I'll
Yes.
repeat them here. We can't repeat them too many times. January the, here they are, 16th from 6 to 7, and January 23rd from 6 to 7 right here at the council chambers. If you have any questions at all about the exploration that's going to be going on in the next few months here in the city of St. Clair, that's where to get the
Now we're
answer.
recording.
Thanks for watching.
Check 1, 2, check 1.
Three. Welcome to another edition of the Focus program. My name is Paul Dingeman. Glad to have you along. We've got a wonderful edition of two beautiful ladies and also some wonderful flowers here. Let's hear all about it from Judy White.
Hi,
Back,
Paul.
sir, ma'am, and Jennifer Malik. Nice to see you.
Please.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to the Focus set.
Thank you. Thank you.
Judy, you were here a week or so ago talking
was.
about your passion,
Yes.
your obsession.
My obsession is what I called it, yes. Yeah, our
city-
topic was the money that we had raised, and I feel fully blessed by that and so grateful for the generosity of our most recent donor. And it has made it possible to move forward. And we are moving forward. We're working hard on developing all the necessary preliminary steps for doing the water line and the fire suppression system.
We
in
are
the building.
talking about the beautiful, magnificent City Hall, old City Hall on downtown Marine City.
Exactly
And,
that.
You have a group that you are the head of, which is called the Friends of City Hall.
Indeed.
And one of the new members is Jennifer. Welcome to the set and to the project. It's this lady here has had a wonderful obsession, and she is accomplishing things, which is great to see. So, talk to me, ladies, about what this beautiful arrangement.
Jennifer made this.
Wow.
This is from scratch. This is her design work.
Wow.
And her
Congratulations.
elements choice. And it reflects the theme of our fundraiser, which of course is the BlueDenim Ball. So beautiful details like the
good.
denim
Right.
ribbon, and something really special here at the top, which I would like Jennifer to talk about.
Well, I managed to get a copy of the City Hall that
Yep.
we are all so much in love with, and was able to get it in the bulb itself, but also on the back is the mission statement of,
Well, I won't try and turn it around, but
I think you probably, well, I don't know if you could or not, but there's a mission statement as well.
oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Friends of City Hall was organized in April 2011 to create an institutional devoted to the welfare and future of the City Hall of Marine City, and then it goes on and on. And that's
I'm
right.
sort of amazed you can read that tiny print.
Yeah, right. And the last line itself also explains what our future plans are, actually your future plans with the group, and to open it up to the community itself and make it an entertainment sort of wedding venue.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, I've been up there many times, upstairs, and it will be a beautiful, beautiful sight when it's finished. And
I think it will be. I think it'll be very, very attractive.
very unique, very nice.
Yes.
Very unique.
And I think that fits in with the current style of weddings and, you know, party venues. Because it is historic, it has a certain exotic quality, so I think that's perfect.
Really
Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So this centerpiece is one of many that Jennifer's making for the Blue Denim Ball, which is January 25. And it's going to be at Rivertown Center in Marine City, which would be the old Knights of Columbus place on King Road. And at the end of the evening, we're going to pull ticket numbers for everybody that puts their ticket in the fishbowl when they arrive. And so some lucky people will win these to take home as centerpieces that they can have in their home.
And how many are you going to have?
17?
17.
17.
These are huge. These are big.
Yeah, they are.
I don't know if all 17 will be quite
that
that glorious.
One thing that
But close to.
Are you a florist?
Worth a
trade?
raffle. I am not. I do, however, have an interest in it, and
Well, you have a knack for it. And just
yeah.
have
She does.
interest.
And
You
so I've
really do.
opened up a kind of a cottage.
Oh, good
type,
for you. Good for you.
And I'll give you my card later, so you can have that. But kind of a little cottage industry, something I love to do. So I'd like to explore it some more.
Okay, very good. The Blue Denim Ball. Do
Yes.
I have to wear blue jeans?
you don't have to, but I'll tell you what. People are so grateful that they don't have to dress up. It's cold weather. You can be wearing your jeans, your long underwear, 3 layers of sweaters, and come in your big clunky boots, and you'll be right at home. Nobody will be overdressed or underdressed.
You've got wonderful January food.
Yes.
Barbecue chicken,
Yeah.
roast beef and gravy, fancy green beans, bacon, and diced tomatoes, baked beans, mixed salad, and cake.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a
Yeah.
meal.
I'm hungry.
There's an open bar. Is it a cash bar?
No.
not a
Your
cash.
ticket buys you as many drinks as you want to glug back.
And how many are, how much are the tickets?
$40.
Well, that's reasonable.
We got them for sale at several places in Marine City.
Okay.
So people can go to Marine City Gunsmith.
Right.
They can go to Donna Tebow's place, Vera Grace
Which is
Emporium.
movie.
Yeah, I think her tickets will be at her old place, not her new spot, which is next door to the Sweet Tooth.
Right.
The Sweet Tooth is also selling tickets. The manager, Kim, over at Rivertown Center, also has tickets in her office, so you can stop in there. Any member of the board has tickets. Jennifer has a clutch of tickets. I have tickets. So if you know a board member, just ask a board member. Or you can go online to our website, friendsofcityhall.com, and there's a place there where you can click on an address and go to Eventbrite and get a ticket.
Then, after that wonderful, magnificent meal and a couple cocktails, there's an opportunity to dance.
Yes, yes. The East China Community Band, which has performed for us gratis every year now since we started. This is our 3rd year, by the way. That's a 20-piece band, and they will crank up just after dinner concludes.
They like to be called an orchestra. They like to be called a band, but they're almost like a nice orchestra.
You know what? They're very much like a Glenn Miller orchestra
Yeah,
because
big
they
band.
play.
A lot of big band stuff.
Yeah.
They play
I'm
that.
excited to hear it.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
They're great.
So, people want to do slow dancing, but they also do some rock numbers for people who want to get out there and jump around. And
The open bar will help that.
I was thinking the same thing.
the open bar is very popular because, when you put it all together for $40, it's an inexpensive evening.
Correct.
When you consider you're not buying cocktail after cocktail, it's all included. And then there will be other entertainments besides the band. We're going to be selling 50/50 all night long. We will have raffle items out there, and we've got some really interesting raffle pieces and raffle baskets. We'll have like the bucket of cheer, the usual, whiskey in a pail or whatever, and a collection of wines. We will have a shop vac, which is donated.
Okay, I like it.
It's a nice,
Very practical kind of thing.
We will have a really nice fire pit for out on your deck, and it's got a cover that goes with it. It's really rather snazzy. So there will be many interesting things to, buy raffle tickets for. So 50/50, we've got the raffle, we've got a silent auction, and probably the most stunning thing that's going to be in that will be a carving by the artist James Duro. Now, James Duro is nationally known for his life-size carvings of birds. Very accurate, very precise. James Duro was a Marine City resident, moved away, and returned to Marine City last year.
Okay.
Bought a house on Main Street right across from the Heather House.
Okay.
So he's now in town, he has his studio there. He's working on a particular species of owl, and for the moment I can't remember. I don't think it's a snow owl, I think it's something more native to Michigan. And if he finishes it in time, I'll photograph it and we'll put it online so people can see it before the event. But that will be part of our
That's worth
silent
in
auction.
itself.
Oh yeah.
You also got some wonderful things called the sexiest dancing shoes, the snazziest flannel shirt, and the best beard or mustache. I love it. Love it. That's great stuff. Those are fun and unique.
They're goofy contests to get
That's
people
right.
out of their seats and get them
Yeah,
standing up
yeah.
in front of the crowd and being silly for a few minutes.
That's right. That's
And then
okay.
we give them prizes, and the prizes are tote bags. Nothing slick, but
That works.
it works. Yeah.
So welcome to the club here.
Yeah, thank you.
The Friends of City Hall can always recruit needs new people, and you are filling that shoe, so that's great.
Yeah, my family grew up in Marine City and didn't expect to be out this way, but we ended up here. We're residents now for 3 years.
Oh, wonderful.
And, my aunt told me a great story of she actually attended Brownies and got her driver's license at the town hall. So it just comes around,
Yes,
and
yes.
the building itself is just gorgeous. The Opera House itself is just divine. It's a beautiful. We can't wait to.
And the
open it up.
progress that this group has made, that you're now part of, in the last 2.5 years, 3 years, is wonderful. You can see the steps, literally steps.
Literally
but,
steps.
Steps
Right.
of the committee and of the group. They're moving forward. And
Yeah.
it was lull. There was a lull period there for a while, but now you're progressing. So that
We are, and I think money begets money.
yes.
Success leads to more success. So it feeds, the progress. And that's one of my reasons for feeling so grateful. As people give to us, it's just a boost all the way around.
Getting closer and closer.
Yeah, exactly.
Jennifer,
Very
thank
nice
you for
to meet
helping
you.
her. Judy, always a pleasure to see you.
Always a pleasure to work with you, Paul, as well.
This is a beautiful piece of art here.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll be back in just a second. Well, thanks for watching another edition of the Focus program. We thank you for joining us. Coming up next week, Dan Lockwood will be along. Dan has been president and chairman of, chairman, not president, of the Winter Whiteout in St. Clair, and they've got their event coming up at the end of the month, and Dan will be along to talk to us about that, and we'll have some other very interesting guests for you too. Till next time, I'm Paul Dingeman. See you soon.
Thanks for watching Focus with Paul Dingeman. Focus is produced at the CTV Community Television Studios in St. Clair. For over 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter to our community.